Why hello everyone and welcome back to the Nullius mod. This is Otaku Showboat having cut my hair. Last time we met, I got into chemical science. That is the last thing we did together from what I remember of the last time we met. Yes, down here, chemical science. It is in fact flowing. At this point in time, remember we had a bit of an issue with not having enough glass. I have gone off screen and built a dedicated glass factory and a few other dedicated factories, but we'll get to that shortly. The dedicated glass factory is identical-ish to the general factory that I had built off screen and we looked over in a previous video, just processing the sand into processing the sandstone into the bricks and the sand and the silica and the glass and the ingots and the polycrystalline, you know, the general purpose everything factory processing sandstone, which I've tended to do for most of the types of things, like the steel, the everything steel factory, the everything limestone-ish factory, the everything iron factory over here, the everything aluminum factory over here. Yes, my everything factories, except now I have glass from sandstone directly. I haven't seen a real need to get sand exclusively onto the network. I'd rather process the ore for this particular thing. When it comes to things like iron, though, that's a different story. So this produces over 7 units of glass at a time. Did I break this down anywhere in here? I can't really remember. I don't remember. I don't think I did do a hell mod with plan for this specifically. I just guesstimated using actual craft time the amount of silica that's output from these 9 flotation cell 2s, and then processing all of that silica into glass here. Now, ideally, I will have a silica factory that will produce only silica. That will pretty much just be this part of the build. That will take in the ore and process the ore. Ideally, I will do that at a more localized source of sandstone, because moving ore... I've already got 4 trains moving the ore for the sandstone. It's, the trains are a little bit too slow at the moment to really do a good job with maintaining throughput of ore right now. In particular, because the ore stack size for all of the ores is 50 units, rather than something like 200, 100, 500, etc. It's 50 times 25 per wagon. Now, we are going to have access to better wagons shortly. I just need the bearings, which yeah, we'll talk about some of the things that I need to get into in this video. Now that we have chemical science, here's the state of the base. Not too much has changed, for the exception of some stuff over here that has been added. A factory over here and a factory down here, and the glass that we just looked at. I have off-screen done a new process for getting into iron ingots because it's just that good that I could not wait for it, basically. So we've seen crushed iron processing into ingots from the original iron processing. Yes, we did the crushing of iron and processed it in a really long array of furnaces into ingots directly using graphite that we also needed to make there. Well, over here, there is an extra step added. One whole extra step. Forgive me for doing that without you, but essentially, the one whole new step here is that you take your crushed iron and you make an iron oxide. You also have to input caustic solution and deal with sludge in this setup. I am local mining this with the chest buffers that I have talked about previously with large miners. This absolutely provides exactly 30 per second of ore and has so much buffer space that it really doesn't matter anymore. If it's backed up and buffered, it's gonna give me that belt out, guaranteed. Now, there is a little bit of extra complexity with this one step. It does add a bit more because you have to deal with other byproducts here. And in the follow-up step, the actual furnace smelting of the iron oxide, you now need an additional input of crushed limestone. Now, I already have the crushed limestone provided onto my train network, and you can see there's a little bit of extra complexity back on the back end here. The crushed limestone and graphite, charcoal, graphite, graphite, yes. I always am going to confuse the terms. Don't mind me. Different mods, different names, all the time. This is going to output both, actually 3 things. 3 things are output in this recipe. The ingots, gravel, and lime. It actually converts your crushed limestone into lime, and it outputs carbon dioxide as a byproduct to have to deal with in some way, shape, or form. Now, the lime, thanks to the power of technology, now has a recipe to convert it back into crushed limestone through the magic of chemical science technologies. And by doing that, you can then loop that crushed limestone back into the system and offset the amount that you need in. It doesn't completely offset the amount that you need in, but it does reduce it dramatically for the input crushed limestone here. This does need carbon dioxide in, and wouldn't you know it, this makes more carbon dioxide than you need to reprocess the lime back into crushed limestone. So you end up needing to auxiliary valve overflow vent in a chimney the excess carbon dioxide. And you do need water, but lots of things need water. And we know how to deal with water at this point. In fact, I have a very, very long pipe. A very, very, very long pipe leading up to here. Which, by the way, yes, through the power of technology, I now have access to the Outfall 2, which dumps up to 500 per second per outfall in the same footprint as the Outfall 1, as well as Chimney 2s, which do the same thing but with chimneys. It's the same 2x2 footprint, and it voids up to 500 items per second, and it just looks bigger of a sprite than the chimney ones, so I'm now using those exclusively. And then dealing with the stone and the gravel from here is simply crush the stone to gravel, process the gravel to mineral dust, sludgify the mineral dust with hydrochloric acid, and then dilute it into wastewater and dump the wastewater. That is that build in a nutshell. A lot of extra logistics, plus dealing with byproduct in one extra step that we wouldn't have to do. We had to do this anyway, no matter what. This is new. This is new. The logistics here is new. And yes, these are a new type of furnace, the medium furnace 2, that has 2 module slots. It's glorious. I love it. I absolutely love it. I will need to come back over here and do this again and provide the iron oxide onto a train. A dedicated iron oxide with a dedicated mining array. Because we are going to actually need iron oxide on our train network for stuff. And the other factory that I have done is iron gears. From the iron ingots. Why? Because I needed more gears. It's as simple as that. And I have rerouted the train from the everything build and sort of stopped the everything build from operating. At the moment, I need to go and actually disassemble some of that. Because there is now no point in doing the gears here. And that is going to be the general theme of how I handle splitting off the individual pieces of these factories into separate factories. Is as I do each one, I'll go back and I'll peel away, remove the processing that's being done in the everything build, and that will have the effect of improving the outputs of basically everything else in that existing build, until I think they eventually just become basic ingots for the most part. Maybe the most basic item in the build. Of course, I can redo this as the oxide build, but I don't know if I really want to. I think I'm just gonna delete the whole thing, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, with the iron one, it's probably going to be completely deleted from the face of existence, etc., etc. I have been talking all this time, and I've got a lot of techs, okay? It's been a little while, the game has run for a while, and I do have my full 1 per second of science happening. The techs are a little bit expensive, and I have expanded out my labs to be able to process all the stuff that I'm making. I want this tech. You would not believe how much I want this tech. I really, really need this tech. Why? Because we're going to be getting into specific things that are going to require extremely high throughputs of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen. In particular, it's gonna need a lot of throughput of this gaseous stuff to get into some things. And also large amounts of hydrogen and oxygen. Yeah, so it will be really nice to have access to that. In particular, to get into what I've been looking forward to the most this entire time, and that is water fill. Shallow water fill. In order to get into shallow water fill, we will need concrete, saline water, and explosives. What are we going to do to get explosives? We actually have 2 options. One that we could theoretically do very easily right now. The problem is, it's extremely expensive. 5 methanol canisters is a lot of methanol canisters. And it consumes a barrel. So, no, we're not going to do that. Not as a, mass way of getting into water fill. No, instead we're going to do the plastic, red wires, sand, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and glycerol recipe. Now, nitric acid is simply ammonia and oxygen. I can do this in my mall. I will do the explosives in my mall. I will make the water fill in my mall. I will be providing sulfuric acid to my mall. And I will be potentially making glycerol in my mall because it's very low throughput. It is not a great candidate to put onto a train. So this stuff likely just gonna be at the mall, especially since I am providing sodium hydroxide onto the train network and it's already at the mall. I can very easily get hydrochloric acid and ECH to the mall. The problem is ECH. The issue, shall we say, will be the ECH. Why? Not really. Meow. Meow? Dolly? Hey. It's a baby. Dolly just walked up and meowed at me. Hey. She's a little... She wants some attention. She wants to play. Most likely. I want you to have a look at these numbers, because this is with the compressed. This is compressed hydrogen. And we are making, in this build, 100 ECH. That's a lot, but it's used a bit, quite a bit. And I do hope that all of these recipes are actually going to unlock with stuff I have at this tech level. I hope I haven't gotten a bit ahead of myself here on some of these, but essentially we need propene, chlorine, and caustic solution. I sort of already have the caustic solution, but that chlorine is a lot. So much that we're gonna actually end up with way more sodium hydroxide than we need caustic. So this will actually have a whole bunch of excess caustic solution in order to deal with the sodium hydroxide, and we'll need to dump all of the humongous amounts of excess, because this amount is going to be multiplied by 4. Yeah, that's a lot. Good thing I have outfall 2s at the moment. Now the propene. I'm doing something a little bit funky here. So the propene, we need a lot of it, and there is a recipe that will use compressed carbon monoxide and compressed hydrogen in order to give me a whole bunch of the alkene. It is an alkene synthesis recipe using compressed gases to get part of what I need here for the propene. There is another recipe that's the pyrolysis recipe that converts ethylene into additional propene. Now, I'm not bothering with the compression. I don't think there is a compressed version of this particular recipe for pyrolysis, but there you go. There is also methane, compressed methane, into additional ethylene, because the pyrolysis of ethylene is going to give not only propene, but benzene and methane. So what are we going to do with the methane? Well, the methane can become additional ethylene that you can, loop. It loops and loops and loops and loops and loops until eventually you end up with propene bunches and bunches and bunches of propene. Yeah, that 168 gets compressed in here, and that makes ethylene. That adds the ethylene into here, etc. That loop is solved with the matrix solver. Now, from there, we need a lot of chlorine. We also need a lot of carbon monoxide here. And, lots and lots and lots of hydrogen. We can directly make carbon monoxide out of compressed carbon dioxide and compressed hydrogen. Unfortunately, there's not a good way of getting into the compressed carbon dioxide directly, because the recipe that uses air uses compressed air, and you can't just make compressed air. Unfortunately, in order to make compressed air, you have to compress air in a compressor, and at the volume I would need, it would take over 60 compressors. More than 60 compressors. At a megawatt each, or even at half a megawatt each, that's a lot of power. Like, this is already going to consume 166.6. Oh, the cats are running around and playing right now. They're making noises. You can probably hear them. So I'm just going to live with the 32 distilleries, each having their 2 air filters, as well as venting all of the nitrogen out of them. I have the vent 2s to help out with stuffs and things. Oh gosh, the Ollie is being very playful now. And I can just compress in a priority compressor the compressed carbon dioxide. Frankly, the compressed carbon dioxide is 16 compressors versus more than 60 to compress the air to get into compressed carbon dioxide at the scale that I need it. Unfortunately, I need this tech in order to do all of this. This is the this actually gives me a compressed methanol recipe as well. This gives me the compressed, the alkene synthesis pressurized, which is great. The ethylene pressurized from methane. The methane from compressed stuff, if I needed to get into that. We have carbon monoxide from dioxide and hydrogen. And the reverse as well, dioxide and hydrogen from monoxide. We get some residual gas stuff. We get compressed air, which this is the one that it's forced upon you, giving you residual gas that you also have to deal with. And then water into compressed hydrogen and oxygen. This is absolutely the thing that I've been looking for a little bit of time. And then there is a pressurized canister build that uses compressed oxygen to make the methanol. Note that this is a methanol savings. This saves a slight amount of benzene and methanol. It's like a unit of benzene and a couple of units of methanol overall by using the compressed oxygen. But a savings is a savings. And I will take it. And I really don't know what I want to actually get doing and done in this episode, because I still need to actually get this tech before being able to do any of this to get into the water fill that I want. To get into upgraded robots, I'm going to need a ton of stuff. Now, I could break some of this down into the various parts and we could do this. For batteries, I'm going to need iron oxide for grid batteries, which are now available to me. Actual accumulators. I will also need to get into batteries. And the batteries, they're going to need carbon fiber. That's going to need argon. Oh, great. Yeah, great. That's going to come from residual gas. And, yeah, that's going to be fun. Quote, unquote, fun. And we're going to be in a very similar situation with acrylonitrile, because that's another situation of, oh, hey, I need propene for that. The whole propene thing, again, through alkene synthesis, which I'd rather do with the compressed recipes to get into the acrylonitrile. And this stuff's going to be used for quite a few things as well. There's going to be stuff in here that needs sodium. There's going to be BPA, which is ECH again, to get into epoxy. Yeah, there's just all this stuff is going to be ubiquitously used, and it's really going to be handy to have that high pressure chemistry. And then there's titanium, which we can do right now. No issues whatsoever. Oh wow, you actually need extra chlorine. Really? Really? Why, yes, I will accept that. We're going to go down to 1 ingot per second because it's a lot of sand. It's a lot of sand to get into rutile. Now, I need to know, do I want to have this provided onto my network? No, not as that. I'll need the titanium tetrachloride fluid provided onto my network potentially. The reason is because it does get used in sensor 2s, which I will likely be making at my mall. Meow. Hey. Ataba. Ataba. Oh, I smacked my face with the dolly. Hey, my dolly. How's my girl? How's the baby? Yes, there's my baby. Baby dolly. Hey. How's my baby? How's she doing? Mwah. Mwah. How's my baby? Huh? How's the baby? Yeah, she's my baby girl. She's my baby girl. How's the baby girl, huh? Hey, baby girl. Hey, baby girl. Oh, she wants to get away. She wants to get away. Hey, go back here. Yeah, go back here. Be good back there. That's all I want. There you go. That's my girl. She wants to play? She wants to play? What's she doing? What's she doing? How's my dolly? Huh? How's a dolly? She okay? Dolly okay? Yeah? Dolly okay? She's squirming? Sniff, sniff. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Yeah. Yeah, I cut my hair. Did you notice? A dolly? Did you notice I cut my hair? Does it smell different up there for whatever reason? Because I cut my hair? Yeah, so this is a whole bunch of stuff for them all. And processors. Ollie. Ollie? Ollie! We got both of the babies. They're joining me. They're joining me today. Hello, my babies. Ollie's way too heavy to hold on to for an extended period of time. And there goes Dolly. All right. Well, with that distraction out of the way. Oh, yeah, those. Yeah. So, my thought is initially we're not going to provide that titanium tetrachloride onto the network. I'm going to pin this, and this is what is going to be what we are going to do as our next progression item, I think. And I'm going to do this in an available factory here. Where is my car? Probably going to have to cut short a lot of that discussion that I just had, because I am currently nearly 30 minutes into this video, and I have done nothing besides talk. And I don't want to have just talking in these videos, after, you know, the one that we've done already. I would like a semblance of progression. I understand that a lot of what we talked about is good discussion to have, and good insights to have going forward. It's just we want to build things, see things, do things, build things. The game, play the game. I mean, yes, planning is part of the game, but yeah, we not as not the same thing as building, not the same feelings as when we actually build stuff. So let's head on over and start building stuff. Things must get built. This will have a interesting thing, right? With it, an interesting issue to deal with. That would be really great to have the water fill for. Cough, cough. Because, yeah, this isn't really near water at all. Ay. Oh well. Bang. You know what? Die. All rocks must die. Every rock must die. Every single one. Very tempted to, delete the rocks from the face of existence. The problem is that each rock has an individual name, and it's a little bit difficult to, do that. It's a series of many, many, many commands. Many, many, many commands in order to, take care of that. Because you have to essentially run the command to delete a specific object type from the map, and then repeat that for every single individual entity type. Because this one is named Sandrock Big White. Sandrock Big White. There should be a Sandrock Huge White and a Sandrock Small White, maybe? There should be a big and there should be a huge of pretty much every color type. This one's Rock Huge Gray. Then there's the crystal rocks, which are Angel's Crystal Rock. And then there's this rock, Rock Huge Gray, Rock Huge Gray, Rock Big Gray. Big and huge. There's big and there's huge. Grays in here. Grays and whites and oranges and sandstone, I think, is actually the name of a rock in here. Dusty rose. Oh god, there's beige. There's beige and there's dusty rose, each one with a big and a huge variant. There's black with a big and a huge variant. There's white with a big and a huge variant. There's red with a big and a huge variant. Yeah, lots of different names for all these things. Okay. Input. 2 things. Only. Sand and sulfuric acid. Trying to think how I want to do this exactly. Just like so. And then grab that guy. Sure. What? Not that one. Ahem. Not that one. There you go. You're done. Excellent. 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 Build the thing. Give power to the everything. The everything. Okay. R. Sulfuric acid at titanium ingots. R. Sand at titanium ingots. Now, I don't know how much sand I actually have available right now. I don't know how active the train is. It looks like I am able to at least pull that in. And then the sulfuric acid, remember I have 500 per second being made of that at the moment. To make the 1 ingot out, this should be fine. We're gonna go up and on this side of the track to actually build out the thing. Okay, now what do we have to deal with on our outputs here? Some carbon dioxide and sludge. Okay, well, that's gonna be what it's gonna be. Get correct, please. There we go. And vent 2. Go, go, go. Chimney 2 gets rid of up to 500 items per second of stuff. I think 11.87 is fine for the one thing. Sludge. Okay, sludge. We'll do the sludge reprocessing. Now, I have access to this recipe. So, technically, I have access to the ability to loop wastewater into nothing through a very long and arduous multi-step treatment system. So we'll start with this. I don't plan on doing that, by the way. But I want to at least talk about it as a thing that I know that exists. Yeah. So I could just dump wastewater, which is what I'm going to end up doing in the long term. But there is a recipe that takes in wastewater and makes saline and sludge. The sludge can loop back into additional wastewater, leaving you with saline. Well, the saline you can plop and desalinate. The water can be electrolyzed into hydrogen and oxygen, and you can get rid of that very easily. The brine is the problem. Because the brine... Oh, thank God we finished the tech. Oh, thank God, I know what we're doing next time. The brine can become salt. And steam a little bit more saline water that loops all the way back. The salt. How do you deal with the salt? Salt can be added to fresh water to make seawater. I mean, you can electrolyze into sodium and chlorine as well, but then you have the chlorine to deal with. Yeah. This is done in a hydro plant. You take the salt recipe. Salt plus fresh water equals seawater. Well, alrighty then. Seawater. Seawater gets processed into saline and wastewater. And that loops down to nothing. Theoretically, that loops down to nothing. I would hope that that loops down to nothing. I would hope that that does in fact loop into nothingness. That's seawater, that's wastewater and saline. That's saline. That's saline. And that is, in fact, saline. So this... Didn't I just say that I wasn't going to set this up? Here I am, setting it up. Yep. That needs to be electrolyzed. Which, hey, guess what? We now have access to that. Hey, can I get rid of this by... Yes, I can. I can vent these. As is, I can vent them. It's glorious. Beautiful. And, in fact, magnificent. The saline loops back there. This saline loops there, and then all the way back here. Oh. We have the wastewater again. So, theoretically, that is, how you can deal with that. There's other options as well that you can take. The other options include using heat exchangers and solar collectors to power the heat exchangers in order to boil some of the water that you get out of here. Like you can boil the saline, but you end up with brine, which you can do the salt reprocessing again from the brine and just boil off more stuff as you go along. But this, I think, is fine in order to get rid of sludge / any wastewater thing that is produced out of this. Just, stuff, things. This needs a long-headed inserter input. Ew! No! No. That is going to be the output. Excuse me, but that is actually the output. This will be the input. And that will be the sand in on you. 3 per second is a lot. I have access to the better inserters, but there's a lot of stuff locked by bearings, which, is definitely going to be a thing on the agenda once I get into boron. Once I get into boron, which, that's going to be a build, because this is outputting alumina. And don't know about you, but that would also mean reprocessing into ingots. Reprocessing into ingots that goes back into the boron. And it looks like you get less alumina, so it offsets a lot of the ingots by getting that alumina out, but you still have to do all of that work in the process. And then powder, ceramic powder from silicon ingots and boron and nitrogen and graphite to get into that, to get into bearings with lube. Glorious lube. So, work. Work is needed. Over here, what do we have? What do we have need for now that we've done that? Now, I will need something. Something else. You... right, because you need argon. So the argon... air filters... This process is going to need to void, and then you take the argon in, or you take the residual / trace gas. Residual gas, you make trace. The trace can be deleted immediately. You produce water for whatever reason that you need to deal with. Water that for whatever reason you need to deal with. This stuff. And argon. Hello, argon. Nice to see you. You're new to the party. Now, that's just the argon for the last step. The next step will need 4 of these. It will produce a fluid and consume chlorine. You're going to need chlorine. A bit more chlorine. Which sucks because then I have to deal with... Oh. Okay. Sure. We're fine. Everything is fine. Everything is awesome. Don't mind me. Don't mind me as I try to figure out how to get the saline water here. Ahem. Hey, is there a way to get, like, infinite wastewater? But not from seawater? That would be great. Oh well. That will be something I have to think a little bit about. Oh, I know what I can do. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to split hydrogen chloride, and I will import hydrogen chloride, and I will import sodium hydroxide. That's the play. That is, in fact, the play. Yes. That is what we will do here. To get into the stuffs. We can delete all of that. We need that. What is the throughput stuffs? It's fine. I need to provide graphite. I have a demand, on-demand graphite build. There we go. Input. No, input there. Input there. You don't output. Oh, you output. Okay, I'm gonna need hydrochloric acid. Great. Hey, flotation. Flocculation. I need some flocculation cells. There. Yeah, you. Hey, buddies. It'd be great. How much, dust is made here? 1.26. Yeah, that's fine for, 1. And then another doohickey, getting rid of you. And where's that sludge? Where's that sludge processing? Who's sludge? You are sludge. Ta-da! Dealt with. Yes, dealt with. Ahem. This is going to need to be behind a top-up valve. Because we're going to have a thing that's going to make stuff anyway. Yes, a thing making stuff. How very specific of me. Alright. Yeah, that's great. That's great job. Alright, let me copy that and then doink and doink. Oh, right, I am also going to need another solid, so we're gonna copy that and go doink. Well, this has become a much bigger build than I thought it would be. This has definitely become a much greater, bigger build than I thought it was going to be, and we're 50 minutes into today's video. On the recording. The raw recording. Oh boy, what to do. Shall we finish this next time? Let's at least get the infrastructure down, and so I can turn it on later. RHCl at titanium ingots. RHCl acid at titanium ingots. R sodium hydroxide at titanium ingots. That will need to go the opposite direction. You give me sodium hydroxide here. You are the HCl acid, hydrochloric acid. You are the hydrogen chloride. My goodness, it is great that I have these. That I have a separate factory for that. For producing both of these things. Technology is happening. Glorious technology. I want you. I was working towards that capacity upgrade as well. What next? There's a car too? Really? Really? Okay then. Aesthetics will be needed to get into the next lab for whatever reason. Sure. And then what is this? Ah, yes, I want you. The light alkene synthesis. That does not give me benzene, so I don't have to worry about the benzene anymore. That would actually be really, really nice. Because guess what you can do out of this? There are pyrolysis recipes, I think, for the propene and the ethylene to max out your methane. Maybe something like that, I think. Anyway, whatever. Don't matter none. It don't matter none. It don't matter none. I need to get the rest of that placed so I can actually get some stuff going. Graphite. Cough, cough. Going. Go on, my minions. 20 minions. Go, go, go. Do the business of building. Well, it seems that I need a bit more pipe after building all of this, and I've had to adjust to the new chimney 2s. Does my vehicle have any regular pipe? I think I put regular pipe in there. I absolutely have extra regular pipe in my car. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Just need to finish placing the pipe here and get everything powered on. And then we have to deal with the sodium. Okay, that's powered on. And then this will probably just power through the substation stuffs. Just gib substations and we'll be good. Gib all of the substations and everything will be awesome and magnificent. And why are you not stuffs yet? Oh, because I was off by a tile. Great job. Great, fantastic job to be off by a singular tile. That's just beautiful. And expected of me at this point. So that's gonna be you. Taken care of. Next, I need... You also make water. Oh yeah, and I need to pull down the waste water out of here to deal with. So let's go ahead and deal with this waste water as well. Here's the wastewater line. Guess I need to move it down a tile. There you go. Now, hopefully this is able to actually deal with all of that, and we'll get to be able to see this as it moves. That, hopefully this actually falls down into nothingness as it goes. That it's basically just making... Oh my god, that's a lot of water. Well, okay. I guess I can have a few more of those. Killing the water. Sure. Yeah. There. The water is dead. This slowly will accrue that. This is actually a slowly accruing sludge, too. Something's making sludge. You are getting sludge and it's going back and it's doing stuff. And cycles. Glorious, wonderful cycles. And all of it is, in fact, cycling to nothing and getting vented basically out of these. Let's think of this as purification of waste, sludge and waste, like wastewater purification into water that is then being electrolyzed and vented. That's basically what it is. Best way to put it, just water processing. Okay. Where was I doing this? Here? Or shall I do it over here? Further away. Let's do it further away. Just after all the stuff there. That. And that. And this is where that chlorine comes into play. And why I had a top-up valve. So let's go this way. So this is why the top-up valve existed in the first place. This needs sodium hydroxide in. This needs salt in. The salt is going to be output from the next step. The final step. Which is going to take in the argon and the tetrachloride. And sodium. And I don't want this like this. Unfortunately. So I'm going to actually do this, like, pushing it out to the side. The reason why I want to do that is so... Ahem. Let's scooch that in a tile. Is so that I can use some loaders, potentially, or have a really close inserter here. Because I know that the inserter can make this throughput when it's inside like that. Okay. I will need my argon brought over and my titanium tetrachloride. So the titanium tetrachloride is gonna be this line. And we'll bring this over. The argon will likely be right below it. Right along this line. The argon being right up here. Yes, let's make it even. Have some semblance of niceness, orderliness to things. This is gonna output stuffs onto belts. this is going to need to input priority from the salt, because this is going to produce salt that I need to filter. The other side, please. And I need to make sure that that is prioritized on its use. This needs sodium hydroxide. There's sodium hydroxide. That's those. I need to get the water line. The excess standard water. Excess standard water. Okay, that just is this, isn't it? Yeah. Taken care of off of you. How much water do I have to deal with here? 14? Yeah, that's fine. That will deal with all of that stuff very nicely. Yep, you're making a lot. Oh. I will need these. Okay, just add the proper inputs. What is this line? Ah, the tetrachloride, okay. I think everything is all piped up correctly. I need to now provide the inputs at step 1. So at step 1, we need the sulfuric acid, which is actually going on the other side. There you go, sulfuric acid. And sand. Oh boy. Where's the sand line? Oh, sand line, it's you. Hello. And that should be that. It just needs to be loaded onto a train and all that. I will do that between episodes. I just want to see it online. Oh yeah, I also have these like large chests now, so I can start thinking about having like robot logistics, getting stuff on and off of the trains rather than having all these nice long lines of stuff happening. But let's see here. There's the rutile coming out. There we go. Rutile is happening. Tetrachloride is happening. The dust is dusting. Tetrachloride is moving. Sodium is happening. Or salt is happening. And titanium ingots exist in the base. Well, that was an hour, 7 minutes and a half of recording. Ideally, when you're watching this video, it's going to be not that. Much shorter than that. Hopefully. Right, so the one lane here is going to back up, and the other lane will always get used. Just nature of the loader and the way at which these are bringing in the sodium from the line. But yeah, that, as they say, is that rather stupidly, I'll add. I didn't think that I would do this, but here we are. Literally looping water to create regular pure water. Just looping waste byproducts to make it into regular water that I'm then electrolyzing and venting. Yeah. That's a way to do it. That's a way to do it. Next time we meet, I'm actually not going to really do anything with this titanium yet. This was just something to do as I waited for techs to happen. Very specifically, the tech that lets me do the compressed alkene synthesis. When we next meet, I am going to be working on ECH as I make my way into water fill. With that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. If you have enjoyed today's video, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting that great big blue join button, and supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowboat if you're so inclined and able. I will be back when I am back, and I will see you all on the next one. Thank you.